Hollington Drive is a new ITV series that will be making its debut on September 29. The TV thriller follows two sisters whose lives are torn apart when their neighbour's child is found dead. The creators of the series spoke to Express.co.uk and other media about the inspiration behind it. Is Hollington Drive based on a true story? Hollington Drive tells the story of a number of families who are bound together by a web of dark secrets. To others, it may seem like they all get along and trust each other, but a totally different story is hidden underneath this facade. Teresa, played by Anna Maxwell Martin, is worried her son Ben, Fraser Holmes, has something to do with a child's disappearance. While the story is not based on real life or a particular incident, it was inspired by real events and real relationships between families. The show's writer, Sophie Petzel, said, "I had been thinking a lot about sisters. I am a sister, that is probably the most important relationship in my life. And it's not one I see really depicted on television all that much, not as a leading story. I hope that I write truthfully. Something I respond to the most is when I am watching TV and characters behave in ways that I don't necessarily anticipate or expect or sympathize with, but it feels real. The best dramas that we all really respond to have such a ring of authenticity." Sophie was aware of the theme of missing children being used as a catalyst for TV dramas, but she wanted to avoid making this the main focal point of the show. Instead, the series leads on the relationships between families and how they create a veneer against the outside world. When asked whether she wanted to portray class differences in the series, she explained, "I think the thing that struck me was you notice who gets sympathy often in real life and who doesn't. And who gets the blame when things happen and who doesn't, and this is not an original thought by any stretch. But there are people who hold themselves in life as though these things just don't happen to them. Or my child would never." There's a version of a story like this where it's all quite grim and everyday. Then there's a version with these people who have created this veneer, the way that people like this do. They try to create a lifestyle that seems impenetrable, but then obviously you are all just real people with kids and flaws and troubles and pasts. Actress Maxwell Martin agreed that it was the relationship between Teresa and Helen that drew her to take part in the series. She called their bond a horrible, codependent relationship that defines Teresa's character. Sophie added, "I started thinking about the idea of a secret kept between sisters who live very close to each other, and then they suspect their children might have been responsible for another child's death. Then they make decisions that have unfolding consequences and nothing is quite as it seems. I started developing that story with my producer, Jonathan Fisher, and we would go on endless walks coming up with ideas for how the show could twist and turn. We both had a good instinct about it. I should say that me and my sister have a very different relationship to Helen and Teresa. But, of course, you take things from your own experiences all the time. Things like childhood dynamics that live on into adulthood. I'm obsessed with family dynamics.